It is because you know I have come here to dissect the finance bill and protect the wish of the Kenyans who you have refused to talk for. That is why you are all talking about me, because you know I am here because you have failed.
Order, members. Order. Order. Honorable Mchomba, you are out of debt. The finance bill is way behind us. It is now in the annals of parliamentary history and is going to be implemented.
It has happened. In the midst of noise, in the midst of the confusion, the Parliament took the opportunity to pass the finance bill for 2025. And now all it is waiting for is the assent by the President to be official. Now, two things we have to ask ourselves. Were we used?
Every day, mtu tu ako tu tao minding their peaceful protest na mtu anakufa. That is not a good thing. Do you think they really care about you? They don't care.
Je, tulichokozwa maksudi so that the President and his people can get the opportunity to pass this finance bill.
And they use that as a distraction to catch a bigger fish. See, wame pass finance bill. Umona, when we were busy in the streets, waka pass finance bill. Na nikiwaambia hamtaki kusikiza.
Or was it simply a coincidence? Because even if it is coincidence, bro, it is too good to be true. A lot of people say that you're being lured to go to the streets so that things can happen behind the scenes.
Tuesday's protests, my source told me the plan was there are groups that had been identified, and each group had a role and tools that they were going to use in these protests. But what was the most scariest thing I heard is the plan was try and stab a few women in town, because the effect of stabbing a man is different from the effect of stabbing a woman. So you'll draw public outrage.
Yeah. And a lot of us did not want to believe that, because we could not imagine a scenario where someone like Albert Ojwang is sacrificed so that the finance bill 2025 can be passed. And I feel like the problem with Kenyans is most of us are actually good people. We actually think that this world is a good place. We never foresaw a scenario where this could be a psyop.
Machaji na manyonyo, unajua psyop ni nini? Psyop ni short for psychological operation, ama ni a covert strategy yenye inatumika influence how the people think, feel na behave without them ever realizing. So unapata governments, militaries, intelligent agencies around the world huwa inatumia psyop kushape public perception, control narratives na kusuppress dissent. Unacheki, often huwa wanatumia media, wanatumia fear, misinformation ama emotional manipulation. Tukuja Kenya, ukitaka closer look utapata the Kenyan government allegedly huwa ina run psychological operations kwa its own citizens, especially during moments of political pressure.
So then, let's even assume the first assumption is true and that the government really went to the great heights to orchestrate these kinds of terrible things so that the finance bill 2025 can be passed. You gotta ask yourself, what is so bad inside this finance bill that people had to literally die so that it could pass? Because on the surface of it, Finance CS Mbadi is telling us this is the best document that has ever been tabled since the independence. He says that this is the most public-friendly finance bill ever.
And therefore, we were very cautious as a government to make sure that we don't introduce unreasonable taxes, high taxes, which would again overburden Kenyans. That is why we have a modest finance bill with no tax raise, with no high taxes. And I think for the first time, in fact, for the first time, people laughed that for the first time, sorry, I'm speaking in church, but I will just say that. For the first time, hata watu wa pombe, hatujaongeza ushuru kwa pombe, instead tumerudisha chini.
So you gotta ask yourself, if it is so good, mbona imepitishwa kimya kimya? Why didn't we see those conversations on on the social media? Why was it the most silent discussion ever about a finance bill?
Amidst all the psyops, chaos, confusion, distractions, the Finance Bill 2025 was passed in Parliament, Jana.
So I had to take my magnifying glass and look deep into this bill, because I'm sure 90% of Kenyans do not know exactly what it is that the parliament has passed on their behalf. Because FYI, your MP is your representative. You chose that guy to represent you at the national level so that your interests as a Kenyan can be taken care of. So at the surface of this bill, the bill looks attractive. It looks beautiful, especially for people with pay slips. You're told that the government wants you to focus on the good news. Which are these good news? Good news are simple, that the income tax remains the same. That is between 10% and 35%, okay? They're also going to tell you that the retirees are going to enjoy tax-free pensions. That means their pension is not going to be taxed, okay? They're going to also tell you that startups will now get tax breaks. That means if you're starting up a new business like those startups, yeah, you're gonna get some tax relief for a couple of years. And they're also going to tell you that crypto traders, because apparently crypto trading has become a thing, those guys are going to be charged lower digital asset taxes. So those are some things that they want to make you feel like they're good. But bro, how many people are actually affected by this? Because this is like less than 10% of Kenyans really care about such things. The main bad things, the real bombshells of this finance bill, bro, they are the things that they don't want you to take, they don't want you to focus on. And this, I'm going to tell you, bro. I'm going to tell you exactly why the government imepitisha hii kitu chini ya maji kimya kimya. So number one is that the housing is going to be a bit hard to do nowadays, because materials for affordable housing projects are now going to be taxed. So now these houses that the government is supposed to build for you Kenyans, it's not going to be very cost efficient, okay? They're not going to be very cost efficient as they have been before. Medical equipment for specialized hospitals, these things are now going to be taxed. So this means hospital fees for, and specialized hospitals are hospitals that cater for like the baddest of the diseases. Sasa sahi ukienda tu kupata ugonjwa mbaya, bro, you are on your own. Your government don't care about you. Okay? Then there is energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, and geothermal exploration equipment are now going to be taxed. All these things I'm telling you are things that previously were not being taxed, but now they're going to be taxed. This would mean that when you tax solar panels, and most low-income families, because let's not kid ourselves, bro, electricity coverage in this country is very, very minimal. Okay, so most people just survive on solar panels. No, these things are now going to be taxed. So that would mean, bro, solar, maybe ulikuwa unabuy 10k, sa itakuwaga kama 15k. That would mean electricity bills, or even the number of people who are now going to stay without electricity at all, is going to increase. No electricity means kids cannot do proper homework at night. They cannot even like do good revisions. Bro, like this thing affects a lot of people, like along the spectrum, you understand? Then there is the vehicle parts and locally manufactured buses tax. Now, vehicle parts are going to be taxed, but also locally manufactured buses. Along Mombasa Road, where you get to see a lot of Isuzu buses and, mini buses parked. Now, those things are now going to be taxed. This would mean a direct increment in the matatu fares and also bus tickets, okay? Then there's the food production. Animal feed manufacturing inputs are now going to be taxed. This would mean food prices automatically lazima zipande. In short, the very things that Kenyans rely on for survival are becoming more expensive with this new bill. But who's going to tell you that? Who's going to tell you that? The CS for Finance is saying this is the best bill since independence. That's why it had to be passed when nobody paid attention. Bro, is it true that now Kenyans, we are on our own? That we cannot even trust our representatives? Our people, the people we chose among ourselves to go represent us to the national table. We cannot trust them, bro. We cannot trust them. And this government is playing propaganda like full-time. It's a full-time propaganda machine, bro.
These people have you on their hands like this. They know which buttons they're gonna press. And you are readily available dancing to their music.
Now we're on the streets. The bill has been passed. What shall we do, bro?